Nero. Yeah, there we go. Hi. Hi. How are you? Question of the day. I posted it up on the screen. I'll post it up again right over the top of my face. I love peanut butter sandwiches. Do you? Also, is it important as an artist to take things seriously? Okay. Yesterday, you know where I stand on that. So, yesterday, this is the panels that we did. That's so exciting, Chris. I'm so glad you like it. Hold on a second. I gotta crop up my board for a moment. I forgot about that. I want to make it nice and flat and smooth and lovely. All right, give me just a second. We are experiencing technical difficulties. All right, so the question of the day is it important to take your art seriously? Yep. Okay, let's start over. Do over. Rewound. So, let's see. Yesterday's page is bad guys, am I right? And that's the whole idea I had when I did the page that I did. So the idea there behind all of that jazz was to just try to, jeez Louise, what the hell's going on with my desk? You go. All right, so the idea yesterday with what we worked on. Hey, Philip Chandler's joined us. Hey, buddy. Yeah, it's 2:00. Nice. Hopefully it lets you know. Phil's had a problem with getting notifications. So, but hey, it's you. Okay, so this is the page that we did yesterday during the live stream. The only thing that I added after the live stream was over is that I put yellow on around these guys in order to connect them to the previous two panels. Opting to focus into a transitional yellow, like a cream, to balance out the whites and yellows over there. And so then the other thing that I did was paint blood on. There you go. I got a question of the day up, Philip. If you want to take a look at the question of the day, it's is it important as an artist to take things seriously? Or if you don't want to answer that, you can answer, do you love peanut butter sandwiches? So I scanned these two things. Now I'm going to switch over here to the alternate view and pull off the overhead scanner. So here's the finished image after all is said and done. I'm going to pull this guy out for a sec. Get it out of the way. All right. So this is the finished image after all is said and done. And what it took to get there was to scan, because of the size of my scanner, I scanned the image in two parts. And as part of scanning it into two different sections, it's a sort of yes and no answer. Yes to one and no to the other. Anyhow, so I had to scan the image in two different parts. And then, of course, lay the two together on the page, and then go through the process of shifting and cropping the panels, cleaning up the edging of them, which is why I said it does not matter at all to me as I'm working to worry about the edges of the panels. It's not a finished flat page. It's in preparation for going to this process. The other thing that I scanned, of course, was the blood, and then I switched that out into a ping layer so that I could lay it over top of one of the layers in on the page, so that I could, and then I moved the blood around a little bit to give it some sort of, spreading or variation of placement, and it allowed me to build up. Yes, there we go. There's our first answer. Yes, to peanut butter sandwiches every time. There we go. So that's how we got to that point with the image. And then, of course, the text just came down. And it's important to me to walk through dialogue. So what I mean by that is I'll sit here and I'll say it out loud in the studio, looking like a crazy person. But that's okay. The cats are used to it. So, and whenever my wife comes down, she's kind of used to it too. So I walk through the dialogue, try to make it a little bit conversational by having some engagement between the two of them, and to illustrate the point of bad guys. Am I right? So, thanks, Philip. Hey, I'm gonna stick that up there. Woo! So so the question of the day, Philip's already answered his version, or his response to it. It's a la peanut butter sandwiches. Do you? And the other question, of course, is it important as an artist to take things seriously? Answer A, answer B, or answer the page, or the two of them together. The page turned out great. It's a very nice comment, Philip. Thank you very much. Okay, so the suggestion that I was given yesterday was, bam! The suggestion that I was given yesterday was Tom Cruise opening a jar of peanut butter. So I just wanted to walk through what the components are to put together the page. So today's suggestion from 7 is Tom Cruise opening a jar of peanut butter. Another suggestion that we got was Barney in rehab, which I like as well. But you can't do everything. So, okay, so I thought we're going to switch it up a little bit today. And I thought I would draw today's page in marker. Just because, just to shake it up, just to make it a little bit different. And so that's what we're going to do. And my banner for today is I hope am I going to get stalked by the scientists? It's a Scientology joke, folks. All right. So the theory here is that with each different page that I'm working on, I tend to try a lot of different things. And so with that in mind, I tend not to sort of lockstep into any specific tool or any specific process that I'm going to work in. And that's largely because I get bored really easy. So instead of doing that to myself, I thought I would just grab some markers and doodle my lips off. So that's the theory. Now, it's a Tom Cruise comic, so we're going to have him running. So I thought I'd draw Tommy Babami here. So this is a Optimus Stilo. So I don't remember where I got these, but we're going to see how they go. So I think that for me, and I don't know about other people, but I shake it up a lot when I'm doing things, and it's a lot to do with the fact that, in order to keep ourselves clocking along with however it is that we go about in our exploration of the stories that we want to tell and the ways that we want to execute them. I've done a number of long page books, but I'm going to be honest, I can't say that I want to do them anymore at this point, because for me, I feel like I'm really enjoying quick bursts of whatever and then moving to the next thing again. That's the reason that I've done so many of these one-page bits. I don't want to be the one-page comic guy, though, I don't want to be that guy. So it's a trick of figuring out which is the way to go here. And we'll get it. We'll figure it out. But in the meantime, today I'm working on, in case anybody's interested, this is a heavy bond, really thick piece of paper. It's the same as I used for the last page that I just did. Actually, for the last 2 pages over the last 2 days have been on the same paper. it's printed images that I hand out at book shows and so forth, little prints, that bad prints of images from covers of books that I've done. So I from a few years back. So at this point, if I can cycle through them and get rid of all that stock sitting in the studio in a productive way, why not do that? So I'm using different bits of pressure on the pen, or on the marker, in order to try to get thinner and thicker, heavier lines. It's tricky because it's a fairly blunt marker, but we're trying. So I thought that I would explore a little bit of Tom Cruise here as we go. So my renditions of Tom Cruise may not be, or my likeness of Tom Cruise might not be the best, but we're trying. But the first one we're going to have to do is him running, because he's such an imp. I don't know if anybody that's watching is a big Tom Cruise fan or not, but I kind of find a lot of his projects one note. This man's on his way to 60 at this point, if he isn't already. So I've got yeah, so I take a one-page comic suggestion, just a quick bit of something, right? Like the last page suggested was bad guys, am I right? Which is such an open-ended suggestion. I love it. So that's what yesterday's page was crafted on. Today's is and that's one of my grandkids said that as he was playing with Lego, and I said, why is this guy's Lego airplane bigger? And my grandson said, bad guys, am I right? Which is like the greatest. Can I do a comic of that? He goes, yep. So that was permission to do it. Kids have the most fruitful imaginations, and you could take a simple sentence and make it go. That's what the page was on Monday that I did of, oh no, it's Jeffy Basil's. That was also from the grandkids carrying on. Sorry, I got the camera all bumped around here. I hope it's not too distracting. Okay, so yeah, so then yesterday a suggestion came in from 7 of Tom Cruise opening a jar of peanut butter. So that's what this comic page is about, is Tom Cruise is going to open a jar of peanut butter. So I'm starting with what every Tom Cruise has to have in it, and that is Tom Cruise running like a nimnod through the streets. It's 35 of his 40 some odd films Tom Cruise has run in. It's actually in his contract. It's actually in, because he gets plot approval on everything he's in. He makes sure that he has moments where he's running, because that's what the people want to see, is him running. God forbid he acts. Anyways, all the Tom Cruise lovers are out there are hating me, my guts now. Tom Cruise is an acting genius. But yeah, thank you, Philip, for backing me up on the fact that not all of us are Tom Cruise acolytes. I do like that all of his female co-stars are, always like the loveliest ladies ever. And I don't know. It just comes off as very insecure. Okay, so I wanted to get a standard dramatic. Here he goes again. Running pose at the start. So that's what we're chasing here. So I'm just using some lines to get us and to get his body moving along here. The shoulder pads. So just saying, the text I like to put in after the fact, but I like to account in my head for where it's going to go. Oftentimes I'll make sure that in the allocation of space, as I'm putting together a page, I really want to consider the fact that text has to be an integral part of the movement and flow of your page. And that's why the last page that I did, while it's largely a static page, there's not a lot of dramatic movement going on in it. I tried to make the movement and the flow of that page happen through the text. And so it takes sometimes when you're working a little bit of adjustment and making sure that you keep the eye dancing around through the images. And so if you have static images set side by side and there's nothing pushing the momentum of the eye across the page or characters walking from left to right or anything like that, you need to figure out how to do that with the text itself. But bearing in mind the fact that viewers aren't going to stick with that a lot. There we go. Thank you, Frank. Mission not impossible. Making one-page comics is not an impossible mission. Here's 27 easy steps for how you can do it. 1, sit down. 2, listen up. Is that Paul Pate I'm drawing? No, he'd have a hat and it'd be black and white. Bam! Love you, Paul. So this is Tom Cruise running. The only way to start a Tom Cruise page. I should put this up somewhere. Here. This is today's suggestion. This is what we're doing. Tom Cruise opening a jar of peanut butter. Frank, I appreciate the Christmas cards that you sent me in the mail. I have something I have to mail you. I just have not got out to do any mailing. So what are we saying, everybody? Paul Pate looks like Tom Cruise. Does Paul know this? Has anybody told him? Could we do some homemade Tom Cruise movies with Paul Pate as the star? Can he do his own stunts? That's the next question. Because that's an important part of the whole structure of the thing. Has anybody seen Paul Pate run? Can Paul Pate open a pickle jar with ease? I don't know, but this is a peanut butter jar. It's a peanut butter jar. It's a whole different classification of jar. Which brings me back to the question of the day. Do we need to take, as artists, do we need to take what we're doing seriously? Sub question. I love peanut butter. Do you love peanut butter too? Can anybody remember what that reference is from? Gotta get some action hands going here. Ah, there you go. So if anybody else thinks about a one-page comic idea, and I'm gonna say something right now, that doesn't include your own characters. And as much as I, frankly, I've already done yours, so that doesn't matter. It's Forrest Gump. Oh, and the music of the day, which the other thing that I try to let people know what it is, that I'm listening to on my headphones is, what the hell is it? Oh, it's the Flaming Lips. It's Yashima Battles the Pink Robots. 20 years before Gump. It's a magic trick, is what it is. So I'm roughly trying to keep things squared off in the sense of having street magic. There you go. Trying to keep things squared off in the image so that I can, keep a sense of panels and movement here. But I'm going to try something in a second. We're going to see how this goes. But I'm going to try to simulate movement with Tommy's hands here, because his hands are always, as he runs, if you watch his movies, watch how he really pumps those hands. So I'm gonna one of my little joke ideas I have here is that his hands are always going to be moving, and he's really dramatic in everything that he does, because I think he's a lunatic. Forrest Gump, cool, yeah, can't wait to see it. So you can't wait to see Forrest Gump, or you can't wait to see Tommy Cruise running through the streets, usually chased by explosions. He's always running from explosions. There's nobody in the history of film has ran from as many explosions as Tom Cruise has. It's a bold statement, but I'm going to stand by it. So when you're using markers, I think one of the things that I've always found challenging is that as you put the marks down, they're always darker. Like they always come off as so dark. And it's trying to keep aware of that so that you don't overcompensate and really go over an area that then is now clearly much darker than everything around it, because at the moment as it was drying, to you it looked, too far gone. Like this is all dried out here now, so it matches the rest of it a little more, but it's a tricky thing. And depending on who has been in the most Michael Bay movies when it comes to explosions. No, I still stand by it. I stand by it. Nobody has run from explosions in film more than Tom Cruise. He always seems to have an explosion or a dust cloud or a tornado or something at his back, and he's going to outrun it. Absolutely ridiculous stuff, but he does it. He manages to do it all the time. Yeah. So I'm just switching up the colors of the background of the image just to give some differentiation for where Tommy is in context of everything around him. Just fun little things to try as we're along the way here. I've been having a good week of productivity on. Usually it takes me a couple days to do a page of late, primarily on my own stuff, because you get so burnt out of trying to do stuff that, the have tos always take a little bit of steam out of you for the want tos. And that's a tricky thing. So I don't have any fast answers to that about how do you keep yourself juiced up for your own flow when you got to spend X amount of time doing other. And I don't know. I don't know that there's an easy answer for it. I just know that it's a challenge. It really is. And so if you got to figure out a way to take a break for a moment from the have to, just to rekindle that spark, then hey, do it, right? Okay. What Mission Impossible are those movies on at this point? 26, 27? I truly don't know, but I actually am curious now. I mean, they took license when they did the first film, but I can't imagine how much license they've taken at this point. Frank has taken a break and eaten some fried chicken. Nice. I ate fruit a few minutes ago. What? Could have used a ruler for that, I suppose. The Mission Impossible movies are 7 or 8. Mission Impossible 57 Frank says, The Reckoning. Mission Impossible 57 will be, Kittredge, I am very serious about what my dentures are in overnight. I don't think you're taking me serious enough. So I'm just putting in a secondary. Part 8, Escape from Geriatrics. Nice. So sometimes you can push markers a little bit. You got to roll the edge, but you can put them on a slight angle to get a much thinner line out of them. On a felt tip. We're talking about felt tips here at this point. All right. So we better make sure we put the explosion in the background, or I am remiss in my duties. My duties as a Tom Cruise peanut butter sandwich drawer. That's fun. So it's a little bit tilted here because the board, I could raise the board up a little bit more so it puts it a little more. This is the board parallel to the camera, just so that you don't think that the whole thing is this sort of contrived, warped perspective. It's just it's challenging for me to draw it like that. So what other key elements do people think are in Tom Cruise films? That might help. Sorry, I try to remember to look over at the camera to check about comments. I apologize if I'm a little remiss at times. All right, so here's our explosion. As per the usual, Tom Cruise must start by running away from an explosion. But hopefully by using these 3 different values, I'm able to push the perspective a little bit, even though that's all still marker. Color's fun. I like drawing things in color. The whole city blew up. Oh, you bet it did. It's a Tom Cruise movie. Everybody's dying except for Tom Cruise. But don't worry, he's going to save us all. He's going to lift us up and throw us over his 5'8" back, and run through the streets with us. Okay, so there's our first panel. What other Tom Cruise tropes do we have to look forward to? Is he is shouting? I guess he's always shouting. Maybe I should do another. Yeah, I think I should do another one of him. Or no, he's always getting blown up, isn't he? Yeah, gotta have him blown up. Okay, what was the other one I was using? The green. Let me think here. Always have a yeah. He always has to have a different lady that he saves. He's I like to think of him as the, it's the Cary Grant joke. It's almost like, or not. Was it Cary? No, Rock Hudson came out years later, where they save the lady and then they kind of dump her to the side. If you watch some of those early Tom or Rock Hudson movies, he never ends up staying with his leading ladies. A lot of them die in his movies in those early days of Rock Hudson films. It's pretty unforgiving to draw in marker. The challenge, of course, is always that you can't erase. Sort of like setting yourself up for maybe too big a challenge sometimes. This is there we go. A little bit of a better view on it. I'm curious, did Drew Struzan ever draw a Tom Cruise poster for a film? Sorry if I haven't been chatting as much. I so in the zone on trying to capture Cruise's likeness that I got a little, which I don't know that I'm doing very successfully, but get the gist of it. But did Drew Struzan ever do a Tom Cruise poster? Drew Struzan is a guy that did the really cool Indiana Jones and Star Wars and Goonies and all these different film posters that just sort of made films in the 1980s. But I don't know if he did a Cruise. I don't think he had anything to do with The Outsiders. Maybe risky business, maybe. You can learn a lot from looking at Drew Struzan's posters. His poster work is he does a lot of really fun things. I really want to figure out the nicest and easiest workable way to do his whatever he does with whatever material that he makes these spiral patterns and then draws over top of them. I like to figure those out, how the heck he does that. Right. All right. All right, so here we go with blowing them up again. Got to blow them up. Got to make them run. Got to make explosions happen behind them. There we go. I like dumb action movies sometimes, but it's kind of nice when, and it's not, it's like cookies, right? You can't eat cookies all the time. Yeah. So I got to draw the explosions behind him. What else? He usually runs from something. Or like, how about a helicopter? Put a helicopter behind him. Ugh, stretching my leg. So by keeping the different sections down to one color, it's one of those things that sort of creative restraint causes us to have to think a little more clearly about the marks that we're putting down, it's the same as inking in black. It has to be looked at the same as inking in black. But the truth is that because it isn't necessarily just your regular black ink that you're using, sometimes then that can make our headspace change up a little bit, so that, you know, we start getting a little more tense about it. Well, I don't want to make a mistake as I'm going down. Added to the fact that not a lot of the time do we, you know, work specifically just in ink, like without any preparatory drawing or anything like that. Like even when people are working on a computer, they tend to have the facility for the delete button or the backstep button, and which you really don't get just putting ink onto a page. It's a tough step. I know a friend of mine talks himself out of it all the time, and yet he's one of those guys that has a fantastic facility for drawing, much greater than I myself, you know, would ever feel that I do. And yet, despite that, he can't work traditionally because he knows for a fact he's going to make errors that he can't then backstep. And I think that if we think about that too much, all that's going to allow us to do is hold ourselves up from the opportunity of trying it, of giving it a go, you know, and seeing what we can do creatively on our projects. So if at all able, try not to do that to yourself, and just allow yourself the opportunity to just give it a go. Don't worry too much about the mistakes. Excuse me a sec, I gotta turn this. Just gonna mark the side of the there we go. So just finishing off putting our helicopter in here that, of course, he's had rockets or the like shot at him from. That's the usual, I think. All right. We'll put some more explosion behind him again here. Just playing with the marks of the markers are going to put down for us. Some of the ways that we can lighten up. I don't know if you can see that, again, if it's pressure or if it's working with the side of the marker, we're going to get different things out of it. So we're just drawing in our big explosion. Hopefully it comes across as an explosion. See, that's where you put in the sound effects, boom, right? Like that's where you take advantage of semiotics, the onomatopoeia in there. And you know, you gotta try to figure out ways to sort of make that work for you, to make that work with you, to be able to carry it along. Now I'm going to move down. I'm going to jump a panel. Now right here in this panel is, I think I'd like him to, that's a mission objective is what I'm just going to write here. And then, so we'll end up drawing a jar of peanut butter there in a second. But right now I want to put Tom Cruise in the foreground. Just one more shot of him running like an idiot. I can't draw Tom Cruise running like a ding dong, you know, enough, really. All right. So hopefully that's still looking pretty straightforward, but we're just using 3 markers. That's all we're allowed to use for this one. So I'm going to move this up so you can see. So like I said before, if anybody has a one-page comic idea suggestion, and what I mean by that is something pretty simple and straightforward. And my last volume of the one-page comics that I've done, one-page comic extravaganza, it has suggestions like Frankenstein monster, first day of kindergarten. And, you know, Antonio Banderas is too sexy. Or Nicolas Cage gives a COVID address as the Queen. So those sort of silly notions are fantastically liberating in that it doesn't pigeonhole me in having to do a very set structure. And that's the whole idea for me, is to have to take some statement and then use that to fabricate a page, a whole story. It's not that I don't want somebody's, okay, so there's a guy and he goes to this place and then this thing happens. I appreciate that, you know, that's people's first thought, but I'm not asking for a script or a scripted page, an idea. And an idea is short and blunt, and it's actually far more challenging. And the benefit that I get from doing one-page comics is the challenge, you know, and it's something that I encourage everybody to do. I think that, you know, for everybody to look at how, that if they want to force growth in themselves, that's one way to do it, is that because it makes you have to hustle, makes you have to haul your butt, and thinking that, speaking of hustling, how about this Tom Cruise? Makes you have to really hustle in the sense that you've really got to think fast and think structured and think quickly, as you have to come up with a page. You just, you know, how do you structure a page on the fly? Now you can sit down and plot it out, sure, but I tend to just go for it, and I find that is actually a bit more beneficial to me than where I just have sat last night thinking about this page. I hadn't really actually even agreed with myself that I'd do this page last night, because, you know, it's Tom Cruise. I don't know. I think you got to be more of a Tom Cruise guy, but I'm not a guy who draws a lot of action stuff, so I find this a compelling challenge. Because there's no way you can just draw Tom Cruise opening a jar of peanut butter. It has to be this ridiculously overwrought, elaborate, action nonsense. Because that's what he do. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about compel yourself forward creatively with the challenges that you take on. There's so many different opportunities and avenues that we can pursue as creators that we might not initially think of. And to me, it's kind of like denied opportunities. Like I kind of find it a little bit disappointing when you'll see people that are just, their body of work is just kind of a lot of the same sort of shtick that they've been doing for however long they've been doing. Because if it works, well, economically, that's what I'm going to go with. Well, sure, to some extent, but at the same time, what's the return? What's the reward for you? Creatively. Now bearing in mind, not everybody needs a reward creatively. So it's always leeway. Firstly, though, I like to make myself a little bit by taking on things that I wouldn't normally set myself up to take on in the first place. Here's some fun in the sun. I don't know if you're aware of this, but when you're looking at celebrities' heads, like film stars most especially, they always have big heads. Their heads are always a little bit larger than they should be. It's a strange thing, but it's an honest thing that I don't know why it's that way. Probably something to do with the camera. Who knows? But it's a real thing that a lot of celebrities, if you ever see them in real life, they've got giant heads, like just disproportionate to their bodies. So. All right, so here's our Tom Cruise running. I think I need to push that knee a little more. Yeah, there we go. That's better. All right, so here we are with our third panel coming together. Now, I've pushed it over to this side because it's, it's going to leave some space here for text. And I may well put a square value there for the text that the text is going to go over top of, but bottom one looks a little like Nicolas Cage, another guy who runs in movies. So this is a little less haphazard. This is a little more controlled than how I was working yesterday, but it still involves a lot of the same bits of planning and the same bits of, you have to be conscious of what it is that you're doing and where and how you're putting things down. And the things that you need to think of in advance. To just executing an image. And I think that the more time that people give themselves to consider just for a second in their working process, those little dynamics, it's going to allow them to have an image that they're going to feel has landed more successfully. So I put a little pitch, a little angle on that to suggest he's moving. a little more there than maybe would have come across if I just done it on a flat surface. But at the same time, I'm leaving this panel as open-ended as I have the others, where I'm not really going to fill in the background. Trying to figure out where that line is. There we go. Just having fun. Gotta have fun. Yeah, I'm still making sure to get it in camera. Why don't I just do this for myself? Stop monkeying about. Yeah, that's it. The magic power of ruler. Boom, 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 boom. I like a lot of the time when I'm working, I really do like to just silhouette backgrounds, because honestly, they kind of don't matter if in certain images, because you're really just trying to get that focus on the character in the foreground. So there are moments that when I'm working, I'll just eliminate backgrounds in any sort of tactile sense and just allow them to be silhouetted for the most part, you know. It's a weird, I know it's a weird decision that I make at times, but it's just keeping it lively and having fun with it. And at the same time, simplifying some of the aspects of the image for myself so that I can move forward a little bit more and get some more stuff done than I in the page that I might not have got done if I was too specific about it. All right, we're at the halfway mark on this page, and I think that I really feel like I'm at the halfway mark on this page. So that's a good feeling. Time-wise, I mean. Try to cap things at 2 hours on the outside here when I'm working in the camera. Just keep track of my blood sugar that way. Just fun little bits and bobs in the back here. Little minor suggestions that make you fill in city. Oh, that's a city. All right. Okay, so maybe we'll have them running from a missile. That sounds like fun. Missiles are always good. Now I'm trying to think of what a missile looks like. Yeah, that's a missile. It's also very suggestive. Okay. there's him running from his missile. Let's see. I was going to go back up top and draw the jar of peanut butter. Don't want to forget that. Which is a little ridiculous, I realize that. Don't want to forget to draw the jar of peanut butter now, do we? Now! Come on, Brunson. Get it together. Draw that jar of peanut butter. Okay. I'm going to do this. Just little intimations of clouds in the background here. And I forgot to put in the rest of the third tier of the buildings. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, jar of peanut butter. Okay. Let me think of how I want to do this. If I draw, yeah. Let me, hey, I got this. Why don't I use this? My goodness, people are going to think I know what I'm doing. Don't worry. I know. Okay. So just drawing our lid on the peanut butter jar. There we go. Okay. I like that in the first Mission Impossible movie, he got his instructions for his mission on a tape cassette, and then he put it in a chair, and it burnt up in the chair, like it started smoking the chair up. I always thought that was hilarious. I thought that was one of the funniest things that when you think about that, when you think about time, and you realize how long ago that was, because of the fact that, you know, it's a tape cassette. How many years ago was the first movie that he did? And why hasn't he stopped running yet? All right. There we go. One more, just to put a bottom. There we go. I found out some sucky news yesterday. I don't know if anybody knows, but Jason Pearson passed away. He was an artist that I really enjoyed. His comic Body Bags is really, really fun. And yeah, he passed away of a heart attack just before Christmas. Very sad news for his family and friends there. So that's kind of I know it's a bum thing to tell everybody about, but if you haven't seen his work, I really think that maybe take a look. He did a lot of really, really beautiful covers in for comics for the last so many years, and great deal of Deadpool covers that people would recognize, and he did a really great run of Legion of Superheroes, which was my particularly favorite pile of silly. So I'm just trying to get the little elements that are usually on a jar. You know, the healthy information on the back, and the warnings, the carb counts, all of that jazz. Anyways, that's if you're able to take a look at his work, just before people start relating to him, because time passes and we for people move out of the public sphere. But take a look at the way that he would craft images. He had a really interesting dynamic, a sort of a cartoony style of input that he would put into anatomy. A lot of stretched perspectives, and really great illustrator. And he was good with slinging ink too. So get a mess out of this label. That's okay. We'll get this fixed up. There we go. Better. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna have to put a big peanut here. Let's just draw an open peanut shell, and yeah, broken peanut shell. How's that? Trying to think. Texture of the peanut. It's kind of like the roof of the Sistine Chapel with that little, what are they called? Corbelled bolts. I think that's what they're called. All right, so here's our jar of peanut butter. This is his mission objective. Got to put those in a Tom Cruise film. You got to blatantly lay it out for people. Here's why he's running around from helicopters. Okay, and then we'll throw in some another little tongue-in-cheek joke here. Make sure you spell things correctly, by the way. This is the thing that I'm always terrified I'm monkeying up, is that I'm trying to put a part of a word in there and I misspell it. Oh, forget it. It's a sad, silly thing that we do. Here we go. Okay, so there's our peanut butter. And then, yeah, let's do this. Let's have some fun for a moment here. Well, I'm having fun the whole time. Who am I kidding? So I'm drawing the lid again. And my intention of drawing the lid again is that I'm going to show that we need the lid off. Your objective for this mission, if you choose to accept it. I think we should call this page, "Oh, that Ethan." Yeah, so there's our removed lid. Don't have to draw the whole jar again, I don't think that's necessary. Oops. So our objective again with this page is Tom Cruise opening a jar of peanut butter. So let's draw. I might make a mess of this, and if I do, I'll just have to figure it out in the Photoshop when I put the text over top of it. But what I'm trying to show is, yeah, well, I don't know if I like that, but the idea is the jars being spun out. But let's keep the same consistent values and energy for this panel as the rest and get some of these other colors in a really simple way. All right. And then I'm going to go around still using 3 markers for this. Do you realize? Okay, so I think that's fun. All right, so there's that part of it. Oops, I'm sorry, I got to do the lid. What are we at? 1 minute 20 or 1 hour 20. So we get the lid as it's spooled off. These 3 colors have worked well together. I just picked 3 random markers, so I'm pretty pleased with how they go. They're going together. All right, so yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah, let's do this. Get this out of the road. We don't need it anymore. Nicolas Cage. What does this say? I'm sorry. Nicolas Cage as Tom Cruise in Outrun That Missile. Ah. Okay. So we've got. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think I got an idea what I want to draw now. Yeah. First, I'm going to put the jar of peanut butter right here. So here's the jar of peanut butter. Set myself up to draw this damn object again. That's all right. We'll get there. As Philip said, when I typed that, I sort of imagined it sounding more dramatic. Nicolas Cage as Tom Cruise in Outrun That Missile. Like that. Coming soon to a theater near you. Nicky's got a problem. Somebody's launched a missile at the Capitol and only he can stop it. Nicolas Cage stars as Tom Cruise in. Yeah, I'm Tom Cruise. Yeah, it doesn't work. I guess that's Nicolas Cage doing Tom Cruise. What I need to do is stop some freaking missiles. That's a worst Nicolas Cage impression you're gonna hear. So there's the other half of my little joke that I started up above. This peanut butter is called nut butter. I don't know. I got to keep busy or else I'm just going to get into trouble. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. This could be a tricky one. I'm going to try to have. I'm trying to make him laugh maniacally at the peanut butter. Because in my mind, he's a lunatic. Somebody's typed something here. I hated the first Mission Impossible movie so much. I remember my mother and I watching it at home on video. Yeah, that's a while ago. That's for darn sure. I didn't mind the film so much. the first film so much. I think subsequent films have got more and more absolutely absurd. But like we're supposed to believe that any single person can survive half the crap that character goes through without being in traction is just ridiculous. It's unchecked ego is what it is. Somebody in that guy's world has got to be able to say, all right, dude, put your bid in. Take it easy. Darn. He runs up the side of a building in one of them. I think you'll find special ops people whose very, very challenging careers of doing some pretty, impressive, daring-do stunts to try to do their missions have never run up a single building, much less on top of the other assortment of things that his character is supposed to have the facility to do. There was a funny bit in one of those silly, farces of popular movies of a year there, where I think his name is Craig Bielko, the actor, did an impression of Tom Cruise, and just as an extreme raging lunatic, and I thought it was funny as all get out. So they were pastiching his I don't know what that film was where. It's where he War of the Worlds, that god awful Tom Cruise version of War of the Worlds, and forgot to put his collar in here. There we go. And he's just fantastic Tom Cruise thing, because he laughs like a lunatic every moment he can in it. And I got a real kick out of it. I love stuff like that. Big fan of the Zucker Brothers films. And the Police Squad. That's the best stuff. What are we at? 1 minute 30, or 1 hour 30, I'm sorry. I have his other shoulder go up higher. Bring his whole body line up higher. Yeah. Padded shoulders, just saying. Gonna have people follow me around now, taking pictures of me from across the street. Trying to get my taxes looked into. Anything they can do to harass me to stop making fun of their chosen messiah, Tom Cruise. I'm not going to say that group's name out loud. I'm just going to call them scientists. But you know who I mean. You know. Got to come up with a good punchline for this page. I keep things consistent with that shirt of his. Just checking where we at for time. Boom, boom, boom. Maybe I'll just carry that arm up. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So this is him laughing or shouting at the peanut butter now. Ah! He's really happy he found it. That's fun drawing the suit kind of as a negative space. The first panel sort of more clearly defines it, and that from that point forward, I just don't care. I'm just going for the whole positive negative approach to it. Just getting that hand down there. There we go. And then we'll finish drawing the knee, the leg. Jacket stick out a little bit there. Yeah. There we go. Alley-oop. I should put that on a pedestal. There we go. Now it's like a Mission Impossible thing. He's got to steal from a museum or something. If I knew enough about Tom Cruise films, I'd probably put quotes up for everything that he says, just because there's few things funnier than what comes out of the person's mouth themselves. That's it. Oh, Phillips is the forbidden peanut butter. Is there subtitles to the Mission Impossible? Curious as they're just called Mission Impossible, whatever. Each film just has a number. Don't pay enough attention to it, I'm going to be honest. All right. Okay, so there's that panel. And I think that we're at 135 now. So this is as much as we've got done so far. We're going to have the title introducing the event, him running, him exploding. Here's your mission. Here he is racing a rocket. Ha ha! Peanut butter! And now I got to decide if I'm going to have him trying to screw the lid off. Yeah, I think that might be where I ended. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I'm keeping Tom. I'm trying to keep the images of him as uniformly green, so that it looks, there's a consistency that runs through it, because you know, you want to have that flow. I haven't had a hard, fast rule about where the orange and blue are in relationship to each other, but at the very least, if I can do that with the main character himself, I think that what I'm going to try to do is have his hand turn the lid of the peanut butter. This is me doing this off camera. I'm going to have him turn the lid of the peanut butter, and then I'll do that in a minute. But before I do that, I just want to do one last Tom Cruise image here, and then I'll just draw the hands, and ha ha ha, page is done. I switched up my music that I'm listening to while I'm working. Got to give myself just a little kick of juice before the end. So I'm listening to Elastica. I don't know if people don't know who Elastica is. Philip says the forbidden peanut butter. Oh, Phil's, that's your response to, is there subtitles for the Mission Impossible films? Yeah, if anybody knows those. Oh, you know what? I think there are, because I think one of them's called something like the Ghost something. The Ghost File. No, let me think of it. Give me a second. I don't know if memory will kick in on that. It actually is quite interesting, but I'm trying to think of what it is. So this is Celebratory Tom that I'm drawing at this point. What has Philip said? Oh, Ghost Protocol. Thank you. Yes. I thought that was a cool title. I still didn't watch it. I liked Oblivion, but not because of Tom Cruise. I liked Oblivion just because I like sci-fi world building, and I like the visuals of that film. Some beautiful camera work in that. And Tom Cruise. That is exciting. Okay, so this is me having him do his jumping on the couch bit. Got to finish it this way. Yeah, we're almost there. What are we at? 140. The intent is to have this page done by, 2 rings on the bell. Just trying to think of his face here. Gotta get that big nose. Got a big nose. Nothing wrong with that. I got a big nose. Still trying to have it somewhat recognizable as Tom Cruise, but I recognize that it's not really going to. It's a little bit more there. And I've done a little tiny line in between his face and his suit just to try to push that space itself. And let's get his shirt in there. I don't know that he wasn't wearing this shirt on Oprah, but he's wearing it because of the consistency of our character here on this mission. So we'll put his suit jacket in here. And then happy. And let's finish his other fist. All right. Tom Cruise for the win. Let's bring this panel down to the same height as the others. It's far off from where the others are, actually, now that I look at it. Yeah, I'll fix this up. Let's put his feet in here. I'm trying him with heels every time because he wears heels and stuff. I don't know if people have noticed that. I'm really spoiling Tom Cruise for people here. And then let's put this leg down here so that all the panels have the same height. And then we'll do the same for the pedestal that the peanut butter is on top of. Let's put a label on this. It says peanut butter. Just in case people that go to see the peanut butter show don't know. There are a few things more helpful in this world than labeling things for the spies that are trying to steal them. Okay. Yeah. So what have I got left to do? Just have him opening the jar. Yeah, let's just do that. Listening to loud music to just get me rolling along. Okay. Oh, you know what? I'm going to do this before I forget. Apparently the next one's called Dead Reckoning Part 1. Oh, that implies there's going to be a Part 2. Poster is him flying over a motorcycle in midair. Well, it would be. It would be. What do you think? We're talking about a Tom Cruise movie here. Let's all right. So there's the lid. There's the peanut butter. There's him doing his dance. Whoops, I'm sorry. I did that off camera. There's his lid, the peanut butter bouncing on the floor, and the lid spinning, and him doing his little victory dance. And all I have to do now is to draw him pulling off the lid. And that's it. This page is done. And I got 13 minutes. Well, it's how you look at it. If you're looking at a Tom Cruise film for realism, maybe not. But like it's, the likelihood of that happening is of most of the things that happen in his movies absolutely absurd. So the challenge, of course, is to get just buckled into your seat and enjoy it for escapism. If you can do that, you'll enjoy one of those films. But if you can't, best to stay away. There's so many things to see and do. He's low priority on that list. So, and there's the challenge, right? Like, how do we value our time? Like, my wife loves the Fast and the Furious film franchise. And I am right now, just today, just to finish this off. Sorry, Phil asked me about doing, for those that didn't see it, Phil asked me about doing am I doing 2-hour shows regularly now? Not always. No such guarantee. You can't always commit to stuff without trying it out for a while first. Just, that's my practice anyways. So here is, I'm debating on how I go about drawing the jar. Do I do the jar as the orange that it is? Or do I try and make the jar, because it's on the same plane as the what's his character's name? What's his Mission Impossible names? Oh, what do we got? Phil says something here. Over the last year or so, I've lost my appeal for movies, especially after Avatar 2. I'm not really enjoying movies anymore. I saw a picture, and I desperately want this to be Avatar, but there's a picture of a guy in the blue face, and he says, I think it says, and I'm trying to remember, "Hi, I'm Ben Avatar, and I'm here to do some avataring." And apparently people were trying to say that that was the first line of the film. And if that's the case, I'm in. If it's not, I'm out. But just the idea of I've been Avatar, I'm here to do some avataring cracks me up so much that I got to tell you, it won my heart right then and there. A few of my kids have gone to see it, and they enjoyed it so much that they didn't tell me anything about it. They had no response to it at all. They're just like, eh. It's like, yeah, that sounds about right. Eh. It's a big jar of peanut butter now that I think about it. Let's get the hand at the bottom. You enjoy Glass Onion? It was a film. I did not enjoy that so much. It's hard to follow the film that it did. And I think that was the, that did nothing for me. That's not the opening line. What? That's not the opening line of Avatar. The opening line of Avatar is not, "Hi, I'm Ben Avatar. I'm here to do some avataring." So there's no point in seeing it now, folks. If you haven't seen it yet, there's no point now. Unless you're really into blue cat chicks. Blue cat dudes. That's the kind of film that I'd watch at home. Well, you're going to miss half the spectacle of it if you're not in the theater. Nobody wants to sit in the theater for 3 hours. There's the films don't get to set the terms. You don't get to set terms on how things are viewed. No matter how much James Cameron thinks that he's able to set the terms on how we watch his movies. It's not how it works. All right, so there's his other hand. Let's put that there. And then I'll finish off the peanut butter jar. And some more peanuts on that. It's a peanuts all up in that thing. All right. There we go. Philip says the Glass Onion was not as good as the first Knives Out, but he still liked it. I like Knives Out. I just didn't like Glass Onion. Just, that couldn't. I found a lot of those characters repellent. All right. I think I'm so positive about it. Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to just do a color field here. I think in a color field there. And that's it for this page. So I'll get this scanned and do the text on it and get this sucker posted for tomorrow. And I'll be back at 2:00 tomorrow to do some more stuff. But yeah, it's a good week. We've done 3 comic pages so far this week, so I'm pretty pleased with that. Yeah, 3 comic pages and a painting. So yeah, go get some food, Phil. That's what I'm going to go do. All right, thanks for hanging out today, folks. I hope you had fun. Our suggestion today was for a 1-page comic was Tom Cruise opening a jar of peanut butter. So there we go. All right, thanks for hanging out. Take care, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now. Thanks, Phil. Bye for now.